Good morning, everybody. Daniel Allison, the average dude. Cheers, everybody. Where's that coffee cup, Freddie Blatton?
Bam!
Ooh, baby.
Morning, everyone.
Welcome to First Sip. We've got a crew of people. Freddie Blanton just came in hot. I've been talking with a guest today. As you see, you're seeing right here, Matt Detjen, and we're going to have a great conversation with Matt, Freddie. Freddie, how you feeling this morning? I know you've been running hot, bro.
Oh man, we had 5 o'clock racquetball.
Woo-wee.
We were dragging out of the house this morning. It was teacher gifts day, so we had homemade goodies we had to pack up.
Well, hey, that gave me and a new connection, Matt Detjen, who I'm really excited to talk to this morning, national sales trainer with Michelin North America. You ever heard of Michelin, Freddie?
Once or twice.
Yeah, pretty big company, isn't it, Matt? And
We are.
and he just wrote a book called Reflect. I've got to learn a little bit about that. And now he's in Greenville, South Carolina. So my first question, Matt, you've lived in several parts of the country, all over the United States. You're in Greenville. What do you think of Greenville, South Carolina?
It is a beautiful place, and shout out to Greenville for being a food town. I was here 20 years ago when Greenville was not a food town, so we've come a long way.
Man, oh wow. So you were here 20 years ago, then you came back. You did see a big change.
I did see. We are kind of fancy now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love going downtown Greenville, seeing all the new restaurants, seeing the water downtown. I just think that it's so cool. And now we were talking here before, and I've got to ask you about this. This type of thing as a national sales trainer. So me and Freddie work for local. We're kind of the local sales guys, right? You've been working with people all over the country. What's that like? You do a lot of Zoom calls and things like this when you're training your folks.
Right. So Teams and Zoom is a part of everyone's life now. And the joke I was making to you was I hear that Teams ringtone in my sleep now, and I've got nightmares. So what an amazing tool for all of us to connect with, but oof, you can get a little PTSD from the Teams ringtone.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've got to let you share what we were talking about before with your connection to this gentleman up there in the top right hand corner, Mr. Freddie.
Yeah. Freddie, so you probably don't know this, but I was the compact construction trainer for Michelin for a number of years. So I am in your world. I've been in your space. I've got a compact construction earth mover material handling trainer on my team. So I am very familiar with your products.
Nice.
So we've got a connection, brother. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He said he saw that Bobcat and he said, "Is that compact construction equipment?" I said, "Absolutely it is." So, hey,
Yeah.
Reed Rabbit, Russ Hammond, thank you guys for joining. Reed always bringing that energy, even with the comments. I think Freddie, he wants to challenge you to a racquetball match.
Hey,
So,
Reed stays fired up.
doesn't he? He does. I love it. Thanks, Reed. Thanks for joining. David Turner, let's go. My boy DT, David Turner, great guy. And Russ, thank you for joining as well. Hey, it's that time. We ask our guests if you haven't been a part of the show, we get the guests to provide us with the goods to have a great day. And Matt's going to do that for us. First, we're going to do this right here.
Quote of the day. Quote of the day.
Words of wisdom with Matt. Quote of the day, Matt. What you got for us?
Right on. Okay, so a little setup. Are either of you racing fans?
Racing, like a NASCAR race?
Or F1 or IndyCar?
Oh, I am not a big race
No.
fan. I'm
No,
sorry
I
to say
take
that.
part
That's okay though.
I take
That's
part
okay.
in
You're
NASCAR
gonna know.
trivia sometimes.
What's that?
I take part in
What's that, Freddie?
NASCAR trivia sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I guarantee you I'm going to throw a name at you that you're going to recognize though. Mario Andretti.
Yeah.
Please say yes. Okay, so
Yes.
everyone in the world knows who Mario Andretti is. It's like going to a different country and saying Michael Jackson. Somebody's going to know who Michael Jackson is. All
Yes.
right, so Michelin, tires, racing. I got to make a racing quote here. So my quote from Mario Andretti is, "If everything seems under control, you're just not going fast enough."
Ooh, I like that.
And that's got a couple meanings for me.
Yep.
So number one, if you're going to accomplish something big, and for me, writing my book was huge. It's the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. If you're going to do something outside of your 8 to 5, you have to feel a little bit out of control, or you're never going to accomplish something big. When you think about racing, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, F1, those drivers are separated by hundredths of a second. Like if you watch their qualifying, it's microscopic how fast they're going and how close they are to each other. And it's the drivers that take risks. It's the drivers are just on that ragged edge of maybe being a little bit out of control. Those are the people that win on Sunday. So for me, to accomplish something big, you got to feel a little bit out of control.
I really like that one. Freddie, what you thinking? I saw you writing some things down over there.
Well, I wrote the quote down, but here is the separator. Who is willing to cross that line to feel that way? That's the difference.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the difference. Somebody has to set the tone. I call it putting the box on the calendar. When I commit to doing something, right? It might be an event. Me and Freddie just did a live event. I said, we're going to do something. What are we going to do? I'm not sure exactly, Matt, but I need to create that. I need to create the box because I know we're jumping out of the airplane on that date at 7:55 and something's going to happen. And I love that. Now you feel a little bit out of control. I get excited. I get nervous. Like, what am I doing? And I can imagine writing a book. That's probably something that stayed on you. Tell us a little bit about that journey and how you felt out of control.
Yeah. So the out of control part was, there's no celebrity behind me. So who is this guy writing a book,
Mm,
and who is
mm.
he to write a book? So there's that, is, what the hell am I doing? But I felt like I had a story to tell. I felt like I needed to demystify sales success and write something that was unapologetically accessible to everybody. So I embark on this challenge, and I think you guys will appreciate this. You're not going to be able to read this, but this is my post-it note that says, "I will publish my book in 2023." Now, I published it in 2024, so I had to cross that off, and I wrote 2024. But this wrinkled post-it note has sat on my desk for the last few years. So there was intentionality behind it. But the out of control part is, I've got a 8 to 5 job. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got 2 daughters. I've got an 80-pound golden retriever. I traveled my ass off for my job. So there's that slight out of control is, how do you fit in writing a book? And that
Mm.
was airplanes, lounges, hotel bedrooms, you name it. That's where, you gotta, Freddie, you gotta push, right? So if you're gonna do something big, you're pushing harder than the average bear. So that was me. That was the out of control nature of that. Is I gladly accepted the challenge of feeling slightly out of control with all of the rest of life's duties that were out there.
And it's a
Okay,
good feeling.
Freddie. Yeah.
What's
Oh,
that?
it's
That's a good feeling when you cross the line and you put yourself out there. It feels good because you're doing something that a lot of people aren't willing to do.
Right. And Freddie, so now that the book is published, I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, "I've always wanted to write a book." The amount of people that say that never write books is astronomical. So when people say that to me, I say, do it. Go write a book.
Yeah.
If it's in you, go do it. But it's not in everybody to feel that uncomfortable and put themselves out there.
It's not, and everybody's got different skills and abilities. And if we've got that, then we have kind of a responsibility to act. So Will Stewart says,
Yeah.
even if the date had to change, committing is key. And I
Yep.
agree with that, Will. Holly, let's go. I say let's roll,
Yeah.
but let's go is also accepted. Thank you for joining this morning. All right. So I want to go ahead and move into this right here. Here we go. Boom.
Get ready. It's time for the 2-minute skill.
Freddie, let Matt know what he's going to be doing this morning.
Matt, here is your big opportunity to teach, preach, coach, or joke. Just deliver the goods in 2 minutes or less.
I love it. Come on down. I'm old enough to get the game show-esque nature of what just happened here. I love it. So, Daniel, you guys and Freddie, you had Alex Bolin on last week, and I was talking to Daniel before we got on, and I love the fact that he was in the dark, getting ready to make a sales call on his phone, doing your show. But he talked about listening, and I want to take what he was talking about a step further. So the crux of my book is all about reflective, active listening. That is truly the key to demystifying relationship sales. But I want to talk about what it is. So when we think about listening, most people have the third grade definition of listening. And that is, if you guys remember, sit on your hands, shut your mouth, don't say a word, and that's listening, right? But when we think about powerful communication and interacting with others as adults, that's not listening at all. And in the book, I mentioned that listening has a sound. And at first glance, that sounds kind of crazy. But the sound of listening is taking in the speaker's words, sorting out for a few major themes, summing up that theme, and then tossing a nugget back at the speaker at an appropriate time. And in doing that, the speaker feels heard. So, Alex was talking about, we should be listening more and we should be talking less in any conversation when we want to understand the speaker. But what that actually looks like should be reflective, active listening, of checking in with the speaker occasionally to let them know, hey, this is what I heard. Did I hear that right? And they get to say, exactly. Daniel, I talked about that on Will's podcast. When you make a reflection to somebody, you're looking for them to say, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Yep. And then the other piece of that is what I call the green light, is when you reflect back to someone, you give them the green light to keep going. You're saying, I love where this is going. This is what I just heard you say. Will you keep talking about this? So that's the other huge part of that, is listening is not sitting on your hands with your mouth shut and just making sure the speaker talks more than you do. It's a little bit of back and forth of just you checking in. So, look, I could talk about this for hours. It is truly the backbone of my book, but it is not something that we naturally do. It actually, Daniel, I want to give you a shout out. Listening to you and Will, you're a natural reflective listener, or at least you come across as a natural reflective listener. But most of us have to fight barrier responses. Barrier responses are things like questions, telling our Me Too story. Like, Freddie, if you just went to Miami and you're telling me about it, I got to fight everything in me to not tell you about my trip to Miami and maybe just reflect back to you like, oh man,
Yeah, that's
guys, yeah, you guys
absolutely.
think, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the one upper. It's
So
funny that you mentioned that.
yeah, yeah. So that for me is huge. Is reflective listening is really the continuation of saying someone saying listening is important. Okay, it's important, and yes, we should talk less than the speaker, but what should we be doing while the speaker is talking?
Absolutely. And it's funny, me and Freddie talked about that particular skill after the skill, and now you've layered onto it. And now I get the book. Didn't have a chance to read the book, but reflect. I love that. Freddie, I've got something I want to say. What do you want to say? And we've got to land the plane here in a second.
That is one of the most overlooked statements I've ever heard. Reflective listening. I've never heard it, that term put that way, But we've all been in conversations where you say something and the other person just waits for you to finish and says something totally random. You know they weren't listening.
I got to say one thing, Matt. Sorry, it came to my mind as I was listening to your interview with Will Stewart, who will be on the program on Wednesday, by the way. But you
Nice.
said something about y'all were talking about listening, and I didn't even think about reflect. But people are mirrors, and oftentimes, if we're only one layer deep with human beings, we're going to get a reflection of ourselves. We go one layer deep beyond what we reflect, and we see what it's like for them when they get home. We know what it's like for Matt. Matt's not always in sales. He's got 2 kids, $2, a wife. He's got a life. He's a human being. And we see people, we see us in them instead of seeing them. And it's got to be always out. It's always about them. So there you go. This was amazing. This was amazing,
It
guys. Thank
is,
you
man.
so much.
It
Yeah,
is.
so a great way to start the day. I hope you took something from it. Get the book. It's called Reflect, and now I'm interested in it. And there it is. It's right there behind him. Matt, great meeting you. Freddie, I'm glad you made it. Final word from Freddie Blanton.
Make somebody feel heard today.
Make somebody feel heard today. Matt,
My
thank you, my
man.
friend.
I love it, gentlemen. Have a
Bye,
great
Matt.
day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, y'all.
See ya.